Hi, I'm Pam Harrington, owner of Good Life Pilates and creator of the Stable Core Method, a Pilates-based method of exercise and stretching for riders. Today I want to talk about some exercises that you can do to help get in shape before the riding season. Spring's here and it's time to get those legs underneath us. One of the first things I want to talk about today is the difference between your adductors and your abductors. Your adductors, your adductors, are your inner thighs. And on riders, they tend to be very overdeveloped because we do a lot of trying to grip, especially if you do a lot of bareback riding. The tendency is to hold on with your inner thighs, and what happens is we get the body out of balance. What we're looking for with Stable Core is to truly balance your body so that all of the parts of your muscles, of your body, and all of your muscles are working together. Many hands make light work. So what happens with riders is we tend to get very overdeveloped in this area, and we want to switch for our abductors. So our adductors are what make our leg come in towards center. Our abductors, abduction, takes our leg away. We want to work with our deep six rotators, which are a group of 6 muscles that wrap around the hip and through the groin. These are the muscles that help us to externally rotate and do abduction. Both of these are very important for riders. One of the things you'll notice when you see someone riding a bronc, say, is that they lean back, they get that arm up in the air. You put your arm up in the air and you can feel what happens is you sit heavy into your seat and you get open. Now, our instinct and our self-preservation makes us want to go fetal, right? When something starts to happen with a horse. We grip with our adductors and we hold on. Anything that grips is going to come out of balance. We want to find a place where we can flow, where we can be fluid and move with our horse, but we need the strength. When we have the right areas strong and supported, then the other areas like our spine can be supple and move with our horse, and we get that harmony that we're looking for in our rides. So when working with abduction, we want to work these outer hip muscles more and just simply stretch the inner thighs. We also want to work the glutes. The tendency for most of us in the modern world is that we tend to be underdeveloped in our gluteus medius. Gluteus medius is the high glutes up here. So we're going to do some exercises that focus on the gluteus medius and that focus on our deep six rotators, and of course give you a nice stretch for your adductors, which are probably already strong enough on most riders. If you're new to riding or not riding regularly, then you would want to do some adduction exercises, which we'll cover in another video other than this one. But for today, let's go ahead and start. So one of the exercises that I like to do first for abduction is, I'm going to move Slim out of the way here, simply doing the motion of abduction. Anytime we do any movement with the legs, we want the weight of the legs to be held by our core, and we don't want to hang in the hip joint and hang off of our tendons. So we should feel abs in everything we do. So I'm going to take a minute and imagine that I could zip myself into a tight corset. I'm going to exhale, draw my pelvic floor up, and bring all of this together. And as I do that, I'm imagining that my belly deflates like a parachute, just falling back into my spine, rather than pushing my belly forward, which sometimes can happen when we think we're engaging our abdominals. We want to make sure we get that nice scoop of the belly. Once the belly's scooped, I'm going to start with my right leg, and I'm going to rotate my toes to the outside, flex my toe, and I'm going to take my leg out and back in, out and back in. And of course, as I'm doing this, I'm breathing. Full inhales, full exhales. 2 more. And back. I'm going to switch to the other leg and send it out. My right foot's pointed straight up to the ceiling in a little bit of a C shape. My left foot's a little bit flexed. Really, when I rotate those toes, I want to rotate my entire femur in the socket. And And try and stay balanced in my pelvis. Equal weight on the right side to the left. Last two. In. And in. Good. Another great adduction exercise that's quite similar is simply lying on your side. If you'd like to advance the exercise, you can come up onto your forearm or rest your head in your hands. I'm going to do the exercise in the more advanced position. For those of you who are laying with your head down, you're going to want to lift your mouse hole, which is this little area here where we could let a little mouse run underneath us. I'm going to come up to my forearm for today, making sure that I'm not jammed and hanging in my forearm. I'm going to lift myself up, gently pick my rib cage up to tone the belly, bring my leg up out of pelvis height, and I'm going to flex my foot first. Keeping that foot flexed, I'm going to rotate my femur down, and I'm going to just lower and lift the leg. As I lower and lift, I want to feel that work right here in those rotator muscles, right? We want to build up those hips and keep them strong. 2 more. And rest. Beautiful. I'm going to do a whole series on my side here, and then we'll turn over and do the other side. So the next one in the series I'd like to do is for your glute medius. So we're going to lift up in that rib cage again, relax in the shoulders. Maybe you even want to put one arm here to know that your shoulders are stacked. We're going to bring that leg up, a little higher than pelvis height, a little bend to the knee, and you're going to rotate that leg forward and back. And as you do this, now not just in those deep 6 rotators we were working, but now you're going to feel it up higher in your glutes. That's what we're looking for. Nice job. And then rest and bring it back down. I think I'm going to go ahead and include side leg kicks in this series. We're going to bring your leg up to pelvis height again, flexing your foot, swing your foot to the front, and think of it as if you were sitting in a chair, making a right angle, bending at the hip here rather than falling. We want to be in that nice, strong angle here, yeah? And then we're going to point your foot to the back. It's okay if you need to put your hand down to support. We're going to point to the back, flex to the front, and breathe. Keeping the core engaged by keeping that little lift through the ribs, flexing to the back, pointing to the front, and rest. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, switch over to the other side, and we'll do a few exercises on the other side. Same thing. We're going to keep our lift through our rib cage. Remember, we could be here, lifted, or down on our, resting our head on our arm. And we're going to start with lifting the leg up, pelvis height, rotating and pointing down, and we're going to lower and lift. Good. Big inhales, big exhales. Work that belly with your breath. Rest, and then we'll bring our feet together. Feet are flexed, ribs are lifted. Bring that leg up a little higher than pelvis height. Put a slight bend to your knee as you rotate that leg forward and back. The rotation's coming from my upper thigh, not my kneecap, not my ankle, all the places you like to use, and then rest and bring it back down. We're going to bring the leg back up for front leg kicks, side leg kicks, to the front, and point to the back. Inhale and exhale. Working that breath. Thinking of lengthening through the crown of your head, stretching open the front of the hip, closing the hip, opening and closing, and rest. Let's lie down on our back and do that other abduction exercise. Laying down again. We're going to do both legs, just a second set. Draw your core together. Exhale into your corset. Beautiful. Bring that leg up. Point your toe with a flexed foot. Point your toe to the outside, and you're going to take your leg out and back in. When we abduct, think of shortening through the sides of the hips. Good. And we're just going to do 3 to each side since this is our second set. In Pilates, we never work a muscle to exhaustion, just connection and rest.